Tyler Ferguson. I play wide receiver, and you're watching Live Sports Network.
Hey, MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU. Hi everybody, Stuart Jolly along with Lion head football coach Tim Clifton. And coach, we knew it was going to be kind of a tall order over the weekend, taking on the number 8th ranked Lenoir-Rhyne Bears. It was, but I tell you what, an exciting ball game, an electrifying ball game. We'll talk more about that here in a minute, because not only was there great action on the field, kind of, I think, in going down in Lion football history, the longest game you and I have ever seen played on this field. We had 3 lightning delays during the game. We had 1 pre-game. That was kind of, we should have known, because there are a lot of fireworks out on the field too. I think in the end it came down to some depth difference.
Yeah, you know, I thought our kids played really hard. I thought we played with a lot of energy. Every time they'd make a run, we'd make a run. I don't think the score was even close to indicative of what really what happened, but because at the end you're just trying to chase it now. But I thought we were in good shape. At halftime it was 28-21, and we had an opportunity to score them. And I thought we had a turnover early, and we didn't get the turnover. But I think there were, like I told players, there were about 4 plays in there that made a difference in the game. And but I thought we came back each time during those breaks. I don't know if I've been in a game where it's taken that long and had any breaks. I know it's shorter. One year we played, and we had about an hour or so, an hour and 20 minutes or 30 or something like that. But it was all one time. It wasn't go out and play a little bit, come in, go out and play a little bit and come in. And, what we try to do is just break the game up in segments and play in segments. And, my thing was we came back in at a delay at the beginning of the 4th quarter. And that's where we were trying to say, all right, now 15 minutes now is where we're at. But I thought there were about 4 key plays in that game, and that made a difference. But I thought we played extremely hard.
Well, it was an exciting end of the week that kind of rolled into that, because as a lot of you know, we've talked about it on camera, and you've seen this facility. We had the dedication on Friday afternoon, about 5 o'clock up here at the Judd and Joe Ellen Ammons field house. Of course, this was named specifically after Joe Ellen, part of the Ammons Family Athletic Center, and those folks have just done a tremendous job over the years, being supportive of what we do in athletics. But I thought there was great excitement with that, and I thought your guys came out and played with the intensity that kind of mirrored that excitement.
Yeah, I thought, we played with a lot of energy. I think, we had some guys out, on the defensive line. We had 3 guys out that have been playing, and they didn't play. And then we, at quarterback, Colin, I thought, came in and played extremely well for us. And so we had a few guys out, but like I told the players, we can't control the circumstances. We couldn't control the lightning. We can't control the injuries, but we can control our attitude and our emotion and how hard we work.
Well, and in a testimony to you and your coaching staff and to our players, you got a little chippy there toward the end of the game, and our guys held the composure. A lot of penalties in that game, a lot of plays in that game, 151 total plays run in that contest, and we had over 200 yards of penalties. It was just It was just a strange afternoon of football, but I thought it proved what you and I knew going in, which was we could stay with this team on the field. And we had everybody healthy, I think it certainly would have been even more interesting than it was.
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime you take 3 defensive linemen out of your game plan, because that takes away your depth. You know, the guys that played, they played hard and played well, but it just takes your depth out. And you look up and they're rolling 2 groups constantly, and we're just able to roll, 1 group and a few other guys. So I think that gets you in the end when you have injuries. But I think we a couple of plays, like I said, here and there, and I think if we execute, it's going to be a much tighter game. And what you try to do when you play somebody that's ranked that high is you try to get to the 4th quarter. You want to get to the 4th quarter in the game, so that it boils down to 1 or 2 possessions in the 4th quarter.
Looking at some of the numbers, everybody, and sharing with you some of the stats that we're very good against such a top-ranked team. Kyle Sneed, 25 for 43, 345 yards and 3 touchdowns on the afternoon. Craig Rucker, 10 receptions, 161 yards. He scored twice, and Tyce Nelson with that. 2 passes, 63 yards, 1 score defensively. Jaden King, 3 solo tackles, 7 on assists. Nigel Bowden, 5 solo, 5 assists, leading the lines with that total of 10. Both teams combining for over 1,000 yards total offense. We had 345 through the air. I think that's particularly good because if you're a young QB and you're choosing, if you got a choice of, hey, this is a good debut for me against the number 8 team in the country, that's probably not a good time to have a debut, but I thought he did reasonably well.
Yeah, he kind of played, I thought he played extremely well with the circumstances that he had, and I thought he played extremely hard. He took some shots that quarterbacks don't like to take, but he took some, and I thought he just kept fighting through it, and he gave unbelievable effort.
And great mobility. You can tell from up top. I don't think Lenoir-Rhyne was expecting all that mobility from the QB position.
Yeah, he can do that, and he can put it down and run. And after the last tackle where he got hit, and there was an ejection. That's when I went over and told him, you got to slide.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sitting here with 5 QBs for this game, but he's so competitive, and people that are competitive, they're going to keep competing no matter what.
Look back over some numbers and kind of share this with everybody. With our 28 points scored against Lenoir-Rhyne, the most points scored against them since they allowed 61 points in their quarterfinal loss to eventual national champion Valdosta State. In the quarterfinals last year, the last time LR gave up 4 touchdowns to a league opponent was last season when we came to town on that Thursday afternoon 2 o'clock game. 59-27 loss for us on the road at LR, but that was one of those, the hurricane kind of blew in and we had very little practice time. So we were the last team to punch 4 scores in against them. And then the last time LR gave up more than 28 points, you've got to go all the way back to October 7th, 2017, when Newberry with 34 points on them. So, just looking at those, I would like to kind of toss those in because folks that maybe don't follow Marsville football, yes, that was the number 8 team in the country, but we're that close. We really are.
I mean, like I told the guys yesterday, we're getting there. We just got to keep going. We got to keep punching, and we got to keep grinding. This is a journey, and it's a grind the whole season, and you can't let one game define you on either end. You can't let a game define you a loss, and you can't let a big win define you. It's the journey that you got to take, and we lost to them back in 2011, but it didn't define that football team. They kept going and put themselves in position to win the conference and then play in the playoffs. So, we got a tall order ahead of us. We've got to get some guys well. That's got to happen. But if we'll polish a few things up and continue to get after it, and I think the biggest key is, in talking to a leadership group today, the biggest key is practicing, and we got to do a better job of our intensity and practice, and make sure we finish every practice extremely hard, because it's not going to get any easier once you get in the meat of your conference schedule. This is a tough conference to play in.
Year in and year out, but as the game on Saturday was a good measuring stick, our guys were, they gave Lenoir-Rhyne more than Lenoir-Rhyne was expecting. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think so. I still, you want to finish what you started with them, and these guys, I really like this football team. I really like the way they're focusing in and the things they're trying to accomplish, and I think they will accomplish them. We just got to continue to work in a manner that gives us the opportunity to be the best on Saturday, and look at each game. We got Newberry, who is always a tough opponent, and Newberry has as much talent as anybody in the league year in and year out. Over the years, they put a ton of guys over the years in the NFL. I mean, they got some guys still playing.
You said it doesn't get any easier.
No,
there are no Kimmies in the South Atlantic Conference. Never have been.
We got some work to do, and I think we can get excited. And you got to forget about Saturday. Even if you win or if you lose, you got to forget about the Saturday and move to the next one. And it's not like baseball, basketball, or any other sport where you get to fix it in 2 days or whatever. You have that grind, that journey, that process to get it done.
Well, and thankfully for us, there is a little bit of a gap, and that may help on some of the healing aspect for some of our players. We're going to come back, and when we do, we get that great opportunity to share some of our Lion family with you right here on the Tim Clifton Show. We'll be right back.
Fans, Geico has teamed up with the South Atlantic Conference to offer the alumni, faculty, and staff of SAC institutions discounts on auto insurance. Get your fast, free car insurance quote today by visiting geico.com/mydiscount. Geico, the official insurance provider of the South Atlantic Conference.
Hi everybody, welcome to our feature segment on our Lion football players, and we've been talking off camera, so this should be really interesting. We've got some guys that have really put their heart and soul and sweat and probably a little bit of blood into the Lion athletic program, and so we'll begin with you. Kind of tell the world a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper.
I'm Tyler Ferguson. I'm from a small town called Sweetwater, Tennessee. It's a little bit outside of Knoxville, University of Tennessee. I'm probably about 30-45 minutes away from there. I was born and raised there.
All right. And then we have
Carl Robertgeau from Homestead, Florida. Senior here at Martinsville. Homestead is about 20-30 minutes away from Miami, the big city, the beach. Just everybody knows Florida.
There you go. And the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Because even this time of year, like, it's cool up here. Mm-hmm. Sweetwater, Florida. If you ever, Sweetwater, Tennessee. If you go into Tennessee and you want to go and do something neat, what's the Lost Sea?
Yes.
I mean, we know where it is because it's not like lost, but you got it. That's kind of a neat neighborhood. It's got underground caverns and things like that. So you kind of grew up with various things to do. A lot of folks think eastern part of Tennessee, you're up in the Smoky Mountains, but You're more kind of, I guess, in the plains there, in the foothills area.
Yeah, the flat areas, there's not much, much woods, really, that's what I would see.
So you're glad to come up the mountain to Mars Hill.
Yeah, got a nice little view,
So there we go, absolutely, and you're glad to be where it's a little bit cooler. All right, let's talk about those journeys. How do you end up here? How does Tyler Ferguson end up playing for Mars Hill University?
Well, really, it was a long journey. I'm not gonna lie to you. I started off with no offers at all, nothing, anything. I had a few colleges interested in me, but that didn't really work out for me. And then I was really actually getting ready for a basketball game. And probably 10 minutes before we were about to go out, Coach B called me, Coach Barnett. He called me and he was like, "From Mars Hill, and I'd like to talk to you. You know, we want to come on and visit, come view it." And at the time, I didn't have nothing but 2 or 3 other schools really interested in me coming. And it really came down to when I came here, it really kind of caught my eye, you know, the view. Everybody around campus there was talking to me. And I just felt like it was kind of my place to be.
Very good. So how do you, okay, let's face it, Homestead, Florida to Mars Hill, North Carolina, we're not showing up in your daily Miami Herald in the sports section. So how does this work that you end up part of the Lion program?
Really, it started my senior year. I was actually offered by Mars Hill. I signed, committed, and I ended up having some family problems, so I ended up going way across the United States to California. Actually, I actually started went JUCO, went to California, spent 2 years there, played some football, and then I ended up having to sit out a year. And when I sat out the year, a lot of schools that were interested in me, a lot of them just fell back and stopped contacting me and whatnot. And then after I sat out a year, I actually got in contact with Coach Clifton and Coach Barnett, and they told me to just do what I have to do, get my butt up here yesterday if it was possible.
Well, we're glad both of you did, because your impact here with the Mars Hill program has been tremendous. Now, Carl, you're a defensive back, and looking at some of your numbers this year, you have 17 solo tackles, 14 assists, 7.8 tackles per game. And then Tyler, you're on 10 receptions, yards per game, 21.8. Both of you are very good at what you do. How, at this part of your journey, this far into the process at the college level, how do you guys go about maintaining that intensity? Because let's face it, y'all played football for a while. I mean, it wasn't one of those things that you sitting there sophomore year in college somewhere like, oh, I think I'll go play football. Both of you have done that for a while. So, I've watched a lot of players. For some of them, it gets old. They've been to all these practices and they've gone to this camp, they've gone whatever. But with both of you, there's still excitement. There's still fire to watch out on that field. It's still exciting, and that's visible for us as fans and folks that work with the program. But how do you maintain that?
I would say, just like we were talking in our leadership group earlier, my why. I got family back home, and I would like to make them proud. I got my mom and dad, they're on me about everything. And I'll be the first in my family just to finish college, So I'll say, when I'm on the football field, it's my reward to my parents. I made it this far, so why quit now? You know what I'm saying? And I say that's pretty much why.
That's great. That's a good story.
Same here. I mean, I have a why as well. I recently had a cousin that passed away, whatever. It really hurt me deep and it was a female, and it really hurt me deep for her to just, pass away. And, she was like one of my biggest fans and whatnot. And for me to just give up and, not let her see me be great, it'll just tear me apart. Like, my why is just to be as great as I can be for her.
It's one of those things that out of something that really tugs on this, because you just dig down deeper and do even better, which for both of you guys doing better is just, for people like me that do well to put their socks on in the morning and not get their toes stuck. I mean, it's really, what you all do is so good. We've talked so many athletes this season about the difference this facility has made for the Mars Hill football program. You guys have been here a while. So let's talk about that. Robert, what about for you? What's the thing that is like the special thing about this facility of Mars Hill football?
It gives us, everybody on the team, a chance to get closer. So like, I've been here maybe a year and some change, and like, ever since I've been here, you know, I felt close to my teammates, but it's like, even with the facility, it's like, we're more of a family now. You know, we have more time to spend with each other. We have meeting rooms, we have the locker room where, you know, instead of going back to our rooms or dorms, like, we actually want to be in the locker room. Like, it's a want. Like, we love this place. Like, it's nothing better than this.
Well, fresh air too is coming in, which is, I think we probably had air that had been there a few years in some of the old locker room. But here, you know, it's fresh. So you got the family aspect, you got the togetherness aspect of this building. What about you?
I agree with him. You know, we got somewhere to come now. We can even come here between class, you know, somewhere to chill. We got TV in our locker room. You know, some of the guys were into PlayStation or Xbox down here. We come in and just have tournaments and stuff. And really over there, you know, we wasn't doing that. So I feel like this locker room as a whole just kind of brought everybody together. It makes more of a team instead of just individual thing. Just got it out.
Just kind of knit you together.
Yeah.
That's good, makes you stronger. We've talked about family, and talked about the distances here, Sweetwater and Homestead, Florida. Has either case, your family members been able to come and see you guys play in person? What about you?
Oh yeah, my parents pretty much come to most of the games they can. You know, they come all the home games. It's not that far of a drive. They come to some of the away games. It's nice and far from them. And pretty much
Robert?
My family usually comes on like more of the bigger occasions. Like last year, I had a cousin that was on the team last year, so a lot of my family came for his senior game. This is my senior year, so a lot of my family will be coming up for my senior game. So
Very good. And then we were talking off camera. Your parents are originally from Haiti.
hey,
So that's kind of a neat additional aspect to your story. That's great. Moving forward, personal goals for remainder of this season, and then looking ahead, where do we see Robert, where do we see Tyler in 5 years? You go first.
so personal goals for the team, I'll say is just continue doing what I've been doing. I mean, I'm a player now, and I'm a senior, but I try to get the young guys bought in just as well as I am. So while I'm on the field, sometimes I'll have the younger guys come shadow me, and I'll tell them exactly what they have to do, tell them where they have to be. And then honestly, sometimes in practice, I'll get help from my reps so that the younger guys, you know, get some reps in. Just because, you know, like Coach Clifton said, you can't control the circumstances. If I go down and the young guy comes in, it's not, you know, if I'm out, I want to make sure that the person that's under me goes exactly what he's doing as well as I am.
The shared burden philosophy there, but also, you know, I would imagine you're coming in behind someone like you know, they've watched your technique too, so they can draw experience from that too.
Yeah.
What do you think? Goals, remaining portion of the season, and we'll get back to him. He thought I forgot about that 5-year thing, but I haven't. I'll come back to that. What do you think?
I see
Tyler?
personal goals is remain working on the field, keep my energy up. You know, just like he said, got the younger guys shadowing me, so I like to show them what they need to do later on in the season, even in their future years. You know, me personally, I would just like to be a better leader overall. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a vocal leader. I'm just one of those leaders on the field that everybody watches. As me personally, I want to become a more vocal leader. And I'll say 5 years, I'll possibly be, hopefully, a personal trainer, coaching the football team or something, hopefully.
And sharing that passion.
Yeah.
What you have, man. Okay, no, I didn't forget, Robert. I'm back to you. 5 years from now.
5 years from now,
We're not going to hold you to this. I mean, we're going to have this on digital tape and everything, but we're not going to hold you to it.
5 years from now, you know, if I'm not in the NFL, I actually want to start up a program for deaf kids. So like, I'm into sign language, and I want to be able to help kids that can't, you know, have trouble speaking. And I want to start a program to help those kids with American Sign Language and get a whole program going in more of a southern area, because those programs for sign language are more in the northwestern areas. I was starting with.
Well, that's great. What was kind of the impetus that kind of put that in your brain of, hey, I'd like to do this?
When I was in high school, I was an officer, and I ran into a kid that was deaf, and I was trying to talk to him, but I didn't know he was deaf. So his interpreter ended up coming in the room, and she told me that he was deaf, and she was just like, it's hard to find interpreters or programs to help them with speaking and whatnot, because they don't have the I can't even
Processing into things that,
yeah.
yeah. Well, they probably don't have the support that a whole lot of
They
folks
don't have the
otherwise need.
support that they need to be able to.
Because that is a specialized training.
Yeah,
Really
specialized
is.
training. But those programs are only offered like northwest areas, like California.
That's
Washington,
great.
Seattle, stuff like that.
That's solid, both of you there, because it's both you're going to take the passion that you have for football and transfer it on. That's good. Final question. Marshall experience. Coach Clifton and I talk about it all the time. This place gets you to your heart. It sticks with you. It is a special place. It is not just any old university campus. But it is special because of guys like you, because of our coaching staff. And buildings are great. I mean, this is a wonderful facility, but it's made better because of Roberts and the Tylers of the world. What's your one big takeaway from this campus, that when you walk across that stage and you were done here with your educational responsibilities from Marshall University, what's your big, this is going to be in my heart takeaway from this institution?
My biggest takeaway may be the coaching staff, to be honest.
Okay.
The coaching staff, this is a very unique coaching staff. All of the coaches care.
And you say that even if Coach Clifton is just not sitting right off camera, that's good.
Like, this coaching staff actually cares about the players. They'll take the time out of their day to show the players how much they love them, how much they care for them. And the coaches, like, they're willing to do whatever it takes to do what's best for the athletes.
That's great.
Everything.
That is great.
Well, I also
What
have
you
to
think,
agree with Carl here. My journey as a whole, when I first got here, there was struggles, there was up and downs. And the coaches stayed by my side. And they brought me up, and they basically told me, like, you're on your own. You got to grow up and do your part. You can't be a kid anymore. I'll say that's my takeaway as a coaches. They taught me to be the man I am today.
I'm going to toss one more in because you guys have been so good here. So we've got Mr. Ferguson here. We've got Mr. Robertgeau here. What is that, or has there been that one moment for Tyler, one moment for Carl, on which it really sunk in that, yes, this is the place for me?
One moment.
Or series of moments, maybe.
When I first got here, my first year here was last year. I ended up coming late. When my very first day here, when I came to Marshall University, I came and I arrived late, so I was watching the practice.
Mm-hmm.
And me just watching the practice and just seeing the flow of everything, how everything was just so sped up. And it was like, I wanted to be a part of it right away. And like, I just got a rush from it. Like, I was like, okay, this is football. This is something that I feel like I can buy into. And it took me a while to buy in. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to buy in. I got into it. It was a learning process for me. I was new. I wasn't here for fall camp, so I was here to learn the plays. I had to come in and try to do everything I can as fast as I can. And once I got on my feet, everything was just amazing. I loved it. I just fell in love with football here at Marshall University.
Well, and that's one of those times in which either you look at it and go, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into? Or you do your portion of the story where Carl Robertgeau goes, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for.
This is exactly.
Well, and we're glad you answered it that way. You know, we're glad that that moment was there. So, Mr. Ferguson, what do you think, sir? That one moment or series of moments that said, by golly, this is for Tyler.
I would say there was a moment when I was down on myself, you know, things weren't going my way. And Coach B brought me into his office, sat me down and talked to me. He said, told me, you know, I'm here for you, just like to talk to you. You come talk to me about anything. And that's pretty much when I was like, yeah, you know, I got people behind me, they're here for me. If I ever feel down, you know, I got somebody to talk to. And I believe that's one moment that I realized, like, yeah, this is where I need to be.
That's great. Good stories from both of you guys. Well, Mr. Tyler Ferguson, God blessings to you. Carl Robertgeau, God blessings to you. Best of luck remainder of the season for both of you guys. Stay healthy, stay enthused, and you keep making the rest of us like, wow, they're really good at what they do, and that's great. And we wish you luck. 5 years down the road, we hope if we come back and you get to come back on campus and share that, look at this program that we've set up here and here and here for helping those that are deaf, because you're right, the farther south you get, less opportunity for that. So that's great there. And Tyler, with your personal training aspect and then sharing your love for football with other people, I know that will work well for you too. So, gentlemen, thank you for sharing, and we'll have you back again. This is good. Thank you for being part of this with our Lion family. We'll be back tomorrow, right after this.
My name is Jaden King. I'm a hybrid safety and corner, and you're watching the Lion Sports Network.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies, education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Hi everybody, I'm Stuart Jolly along with Lion head football coach Tim Clifton. Quick recap of where we are in South Atlantic Conference standings with all of our squads. Lenoir-Rhyne 2-0, Wingate 2-0, Carson Newman, Mars Hill, Newberry, and Tusculum are all 1-1. Catawba 0-1, Limestone 0-1, and the newest league member, UVA Wise 0-2. Coach, we said in the first segment, as you and I know, whether they were called the Newberry Indians or whether they're the Newberry Wolves, that's always been an interesting place to play for Mars Hill. It's hot. You're there in just outside of Columbia. I knew that's always an aspect I think that plays into it, because they're used to practicing in that, and we're, even though it's been hot up here in the mountains, that's a different kind of hot. But that's been a good series over the years. It's been one that, for Mars Hill, at times we've been on the roll, and then it's flipped, and Newberry's had big winning streaks. What do you see going in? Newberry picked up a league win last week against, looking back here, a 30-20 win against Tusculum. They lost 34-17 against Lenoir-Rhyne, so that's kind of a common opponent there. What do you anticipate going down mid-state South Carolina on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock?
Nothing any different. I mean, they're always one of the most talented teams in the league. They always have a lot of talent on offense. They can score, and from just about anywhere. They always are really good at receiver, and then they're a very physical football team. They've always been physical, and on defense they just they've got a lot of guys that can, as usual, they can run. They're big and they can run, and we've had some great games with them over the years, and it's a tough opponent, and always going into Newberry is a tough task for anybody that goes into there.
looking at some of their numbers in terms of their QBs, looks like they're rotating 2 guys. I don't know who they've settled on. Dre Harris, he's 48 of 76. Colton Bailey, 17 of 30. So they've got kind of 2 ways they can go. What has been their tendency? It looks like they may have gone a little bit more with Harris once they got into the swing of things.
Yeah, and he has basically been their starter. He came out against Tusculum. I don't know. It was after he was hit, so you don't know what happened there, and because he came out during a series. So, but they're both very athletic, as usual for Newberry. They're hard to run down. If they get in a crease, they can accelerate and make big things happen. So we sort of got to keep them jammed in there a little bit, and keep them from getting out and keep them from scrambling and getting loose and just making plays while they're on the run.
It looks like he's kind of got 3 receivers, favorite targets. Bobby Irby, 177 yards thus far this season. Deshaun Kitchings, who seems like he's been there a long time.
Sounds like both of them.
219 yards, and Tyler Johnson, 149. So he's got some good targets.
Yeah, I mean, they're always athletic out there, and they always do a good job getting the ball in space. And then you got to get them on the ground once they get them in space.
4 o'clock game time at Newberry. It's the Hall of Fame game at Family Weekend, so there's going to be a crowd down there. Going into this first traditional league game that we've got 2 under our belt, so it's kind of in the swing of things now. I would imagine coming after the Lenoir-Rhyne game, we've talked about getting kids. Hopefully the healing process will be underway. But really, we're getting into the meat of the season. You've got some back-to-back tough situation. You've got Newberry, then you're going to have Pembroke coming up. How do you, from a coaching standpoint, you've got these kind of blocks of games. How do you go about that, just processing and helping the team process through that? Because some folks come on those long homestands. We don't really have any long homestands this year.
No, we have 2. Newberry's a 2.5-hour ride, every bit of it, and then the next one I can't even remember how long it is. So you got two back-to-back road games. But what you try to do is you just try to focus on the now and what you got to do against Newberry. And you got to have you got to have a routine. They stay in a routine. You try to keep them in a routine. So. What you got to figure out, what happens now is so many games are at different times now. We played a road game at 12, played another one at 4, and they just flip. So what you try to do is get in a routine, but the most important thing is you just say, we got this opponent, this is what we got. There's nothing else out there. We've got to get this done for this opponent, and that's how you attack it. And you just know that going in, that you got a tough road ahead, and you got to grind during the week to get where you want to be on Saturday.
Well, and the good thing is know when you have young people the caliber of Carl and of Tyler, that helps with that grind. It really does.
Yeah, and I thought both of them, the answer they gave about the coaching staff here, I think that was, that's a compliment. That's what you want from your players, is that they feel like they can trust the coaches. They feel like they can come to them, and for them to say that, I think just exemplifies what we're trying to do here. That's as they get out of here, that they can be successful. And they be successful with their families, as far as a father and a husband. And I think I thought it was awesome that they said what they said about the staff, and because I think our staff works extremely hard. I think they put in a lot of hours. I everything they do is for the kids. I don't think there's a selfish guy on the staff that is looking to promote themselves. I think they're here for the young people that we coach, but they're also here for the young people on this campus. And I'm not sure that any student came in and walked up to the office and knocked on the door and asked for advice. The coaches would open the door for them and try to help them in any way they could. So I think it's a tribute to the staff. I think it's a tribute to what we're trying to accomplish, and for these young men to say what they said, I think shows that we are getting through. Not to all, you don't get through to everybody, but we are, I think, getting through that. The game is fun. There is a why to why you play, and I thought they both gave what they said about why they play and why they're in Morrisville. I think it's a credit to this university. I think it's a credit to this program.
Well, as you and I've talked so many times, it is about life lessons, and it becomes, I guess even more so, with those lessons, it becomes about life legacy, because those gentlemen will take what they've learned from the Tim Cliftons, the Kevin Barnetts of the world, and they've already put it in here. They've internalized that, both of them. And it's been time and time through all of our interviews with your players. They are very unselfish, and they're very sincere about wanting to share that desire to make other people better. And that's a testament of what you guys do.
Well, I think both those young men have come a long ways. Tyler he's been here. This is his 5th year here. He redshirted his freshman year, and to watch his growth has been unbelievable. And then to watch Carl come in from Miami and watch his growth and how much he has grown in the last year. It just makes you excited for them. And I'm so proud of both those guys, and just to watch them where they have just continually stepped forward and not only they're successful on the field. Those two guys are successful in the classroom, and they're successful in their life, and watch them come from where they've come from and where they've gone. It's just it's what you want to see from your children. It's exactly what you want to see.
Well, it's all part of that, as we know, that family aspect that we have here as part of Morrisville Athletics and Morrisville University. Thank you for being with us for the Tim Clifton Show. We'll be back next week with a look at how the Lions did on their road game against the Wolves of Newberry. They will kick off at 4 o'clock at Newberry. If you can, make the game. If not, be sure to tune in online. Till next week, Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolly. So long for now.
Hey, MHU on 3. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.